In StatCrunch, we can get a lot of information about variables on the normal model by using the normal model calculator. For that, we're going to click on Stat, Calculators, and then Normal. This is going to pull up our normal calculator, which allows us to calculate some values very specifically. You'll notice that by default it starts with a z-score, something with a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. This is also called the standard normal, and if you convert anything to a z-score, you can use this standard normal. The way this calculator works is by allowing us to enter a reference value. Here we're interested in the point along the x-axis. We want to know how much of the data falls below that. So we change this to be 1 and click enter, or we can click on compute. We'll see that our edge of the red bar here moves up to the value 1, and it tells us that 84%, or a proportion of about 0.84, falls below 1 standard deviation on the standard normal. We can get closer to a 68% rule by clicking on between. Now we want to know the area between, and it automatically set us to -1 and 1, and it shows us that this red area contains about 68% of the data. We can change this to any range we want. We could run from -2 to 1, show that 81.859% of the data fall between +1 and -2 standard deviations of x. If we flip back to the standard, we can also turn this around. We can ask, where is the bottom 25% of data? So if we put in 0.25 for our proportion, hit enter, we're now going to get a point that contains 25% of the area under this curve. This tells us that 25% of our values are going to fall to the left of -0.67. Now we can invert this to say greater than, and if we want to say we want the area that is the top 25%, we click compute, and you'll note that this is the same cutoff, just a positive instead of a negative value. As a final point, if you don't want to convert to the standard normal, you can also change the mean. So here, if we change our mean to be, let's say, $2.56 with a standard deviation of 18 cents, this is similar to, but not exactly equal to, the pizza data, and we want to know what proportion of pizza costs more than, say, $2.75, we can click compute and find that about 14.6% of pizza slices would cost more than $2.70 or 75 cents. Could also ask between and say, where is the middle, if I want to know how often I will pay between, let's say, $2.40 and $2.80, I can see that I will pay between that range about 72% of the time. These sorts of calculations will prove invaluable as you work through the homework and as we move forward with the quizzes and ask slightly different questions of the normal model.